long time coming, but I know, the change is gonna come. Yes. I can hear him call his mother, saying, Mother, help me, please. 'Cause he knew every time that he called his mother, mother would immediately get down on her knees. Oh, he said, I can't breathe. I can't last for long. Now he's resting in peace. Somehow we gotta carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change don't come. Oh, yes, it will. I said a change gon' come. I know a change. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, change is gonna come. I know a change gonna come. I know it will. I believe it will. I said a change. I said a change gonna come.
Andre, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, Steve. Sisters and brothers of the local, it's a good evening. You're welcome to the Local 8751 informational meeting, June 18, 2020, 6 p.m. Actually, it's actually 6:09 now, but you got in since 6 o'clock. Due to continuing COVID-19 distancing precaution, this informational meeting is brought to the members via Zoom webinar, YouTube, and on the Facebook page of Team Solidarity, the voice of the United School Bus Union Workers. Meeting dedicated to solidarity with the families of our departed Local 8751 members, Charlie Hoy, Yves Edouard, Norius Valbrun, and William Bill Doorley, along with the brothers and sisters from the Black community, Black and Brown community, people that died of police violence. Local 8751 pledges to redouble our health and safety efforts. As you can see on the agenda, the facilitator was going to be giving messages, and he's not feeling well. He's going to call. As a facilitator, he's not feeling well. So I think we'll that task of it to do the facilitation. The the given committee chairperson cannot do that tonight. Well, opening is the honor and moment of silence for our deceased members. Like I said, along with the people that died from Black and Brown communities throughout the country, and the struggle with Black Lives Matter doing. So we're gonna honor them. Actually, we had a memorial on May 28th for our brothers, deceased members, at the Freeport Yard. You're probably gonna take a look at. We'll be taking a look at the video in a little while. Gillis, if you're ready, you can post the video for the members.
Charlie Wyatt was a 43 or 44 years veteran. He gave his entire adult life for this job. It's surely going to be missed. Because I see every day I come here, just about every time I come here, he has to call me with a smile on his face. We're talking about contracts, talking about all types of things that the company is doing, things that the company is doing against people, trying to get their money and everything else. So he was a union guy. We appreciate him. It's sure going to be missed. The second one is our brother, Edouard. Edouard was a very quiet, the guy, matter of fact guy, a union man. And he's sure going to be missed too. Because he's a friend of all of us here. And he loves union. Second, gotta go with Valbrun, our brother from Redouble. This man never had any discipline, just like Yves. And he came in and do his work. He appreciated the union. He did just about everything that is supposed to be done right. So it's sure going to be missed. And also we have Raleigh, although he works for management, but he was a kid. We loved the kid. I have conversation with him all the time down there. Before he went to, I was talking to him about some of the things that he has to do. He got an immigration. And we got conversation all the time. There's union, there's company, there's mechanics. The work has to be done with everybody involved. So, when he was a manager, he was a manager. But other than that, I think
Looks like something went wrong with the audio on the video.
the boss monitors are doing. They are and they do a very job too. And they do a job for compliance with wearing the mask and the thing, and have your people to wear, your members to wear masks and follow distance and everything, 6 feet apart. And we keep this place safe so we can continue to live. And I thank the Steamsters for doing security and help the union keep this place safe. After all, it's a union environment. It's a union shop. And we don't welcome the people that are anti-union. We have a couple of incidents with one anti-union guy here but he may not be all in the union altogether. Somebody is not bringing. That caused that, but plus, if you get orders, then he can do things that they told him to do. But before he recognized that this is a union yard, he can't get away with stuff like that that he did. I'm talking about a guy named Patrick Hyde. Occasions he bangs head with the union. A union that was about 900 people, almost 1,000 people, plus Boss Montes. So he has to recognize that we are leadership of the union. We can't give the leadership the problems, let alone the bus drivers that are on the ground. We are the one that makes it work. So today was to remember our fathers, brothers, and sisters. We appreciate the managers also. We appreciate those, but we don't welcome those that don't want to do anything with the union. This guy, Riley, he won't be here because he acted appropriately a couple of times. He got in the financial secretary's face. He got on my face. I had to tell him to cut the bullshit. We running this place safe. So if he wants to continue to work, he going to cooperate. If not, we're going to ask that he leaves. He don't belong here in this environment. So this is like that for everyone that don't want to work with the union. Go by someplace else to go work in the ponies somewhere where the racism is allowed. We've gone too far. The union going to pick up again. So COVID-19 is a good period, even though it killed us. But we have to stay together, stay safe, and practice the distances. All the things that you have to do. It's like survival. Do everything. Take care of each other. And I'm gonna leave the mic to somebody that'd like to say something. Earlier today, all the management told me that he's not going to be part of this thing. He might have a couple words to say, but before I do that, the union like where Valbrun like to say something. Come on up and say something. We all welcome to say something. Thank you.
We're going to be very short. And first of all, I just want to thank everyone for taking a moment of time for our brothers who have been passed away. Nothing against our work we have been doing. While we have been working, we want to make sure those they have been never forgotten. As they always said, as a man, this is why we are here. No matter who you are, what you are, this is something we can learn from it. We have to learn how to live together as a brothers. Thank you, mechanics, for coming out. This job is not only for us. We cannot do this job by ourselves. Thank you for all you have been doing. Today, by showing your presence over here, to supporting no matter what your part of management, like an example, the president I've been talking about, Raleigh. He's a guy, I had a chance to talk to him. He's a really human being. He got a sense of decency. Whatever the issue we have, he come, he try to help you. This is what we are here for. That's what we need from you. We need cooperation, not confrontation.
Thank you for listening. There was a couple glitch in the video. There's one correction that I had to make. Actually, there's a place where I had to say Patrick Hyde. I said the rally again, but it's just a mistaking of names and stuff like that. But since I didn't do the moment of silence prior to playing the video, we're going to proceed to do that now, because there was a member later on that passed away to COVID that was on the memorial, so we can include them in there and still do the moment of silence, including the black and brown. We're going to start now. It'll take a minute. Thank you. Administrator, you can go ahead and mute us for the moment of silence. We start now. I thank you, folks, sisters and brothers. I noticed people raising their hands in the attendance. I'm asking you to take some patience for us. It's our first meeting, so we're still learning about it. We're going to be better at it at some point. You can chat. Besides putting your hand up, you can actually raise your hand. You can actually put a chat for us, so we can to move on with the agenda. We're going to call on our international rep. This is John Bonaparte, that's going to say a few things to you, introduce himself to you. Some of you that didn't meet him yet. I noticed a good attendance here at probably 83. 74 right now on the calls. That's pretty good. You should applaud. You should give yourself a round of applause for getting on there and get your information. Thank you, John. I'm going to give you to say a few words to the members.
Thank you, Andre. I've been at a couple of meetings. It was early in the year. I started this assignment. I took over from the previous international rep, Len Soro, probably in late February. I can tell you that over the years, I've followed the different struggles that your local and your local leadership have been through. I've talked to a lot of people before I took the assignment. They all said that your local leadership was a very effective group, that you had a lot of solidarity within your local. And when I started in late February, I started to work with everybody a little bit. I had gone to a couple of meetings. And then shortly into that time period, the COVID-19 crisis hit. Obviously, it was a huge change for a lot of people, a lot of serious consequences, unfortunately, to a few. But I can honestly say that I work with a lot of different local unions in the state of Massachusetts, and no other local union has worked harder to keep their people not only employed, but really to keep them safe. You'll probably hear about some of the things that the union's been dealing with since the COVID-19 crisis hit tonight. But, you know, to cover everything, I think we probably have to spend about 3 days on this call. Your local union leadership has gone toe to toe with this company and the city consistently. They haven't backed down. And we can't say that about a lot of locals out there. So you really should be proud of the work they're doing. They're putting their heart and soul into it. And they've consistently demonstrated the virtues, the good virtues of what it takes to run an effective local union. And I mean that sincerely. Civil rights, no other union can match. They're unmatched. A lot of local unions, they talk a lot about civil rights. They talk about a lot of things that could be done or things that should be done, but this local does it. They back it up. There's no talking. The only talk is to plan how they're going to do something, and then they do it. And I understand that the local union has a long history of doing this. And again, I can say, you know, with all my experience and all the different people that I work with and see how things are done throughout the labor movement, this local's unmatched. So again, I know that the membership are proud members. You have a reputation of having a lot of solidarity. I want everyone to know that, especially in the greater Boston union world. So really, I'm proud to be a part of it in my way. So thank you, Andre. Thank you for giving me a minute to talk.
Can somebody unmute Andre?
Andre, you there?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, John. I was just saying that I don't know if the members the attendees see you because we didn't see you on this side. I hope they saw who you were. They get to meet you face to face, but on the call by showing your video, I noticed Steve is not showing himself either. SK. But before I continue, I'm gonna tell the members what we've been doing as a local since COVID-19 started. In order to protect them and keep them safe, especially those that involved in the food distribution at the place, the home delivery food distribution program that the mayor had. We have a conference call, Zoom video calls every 2 days, and we were consistent at it. We started doing. We end around 5:30 sometime, and it's to talk about your interest, your right to the contract, to protect you all throughout, like the international rep says to you earlier. To start the BPS food delivery program, and we sort of I have to go back to March the 12th when we went to meetings down there to protect your interests and your right to get paid and to continue to pay full pay and benefits and everything. So we did a couple meetings and we were very aggressive in participating in meeting and get you your rights and all your pay with all your benefits. Until earlier today, I was just talking with the GM about your attendance bonus, because we didn't make COVID happen. COVID is a natural thing. We were in attendance. He said he's going to be talking to the right people about this to get your attendance bonus and everything done. But we had to do some things. We did it collectively, but I can tell you, your brother, Steve Gillis, was the catalyst. He was the motor to make sure you were safe. You were protected all throughout, from the beginning to end, enforcing all the social distancing, the work distance, and having people wearing gloves, making sure the city, the BPS was doing the right thing, and everything. We had daily reports and everything. So it was a well-organized, well-oiled machine that we had to protect you and get you paid throughout this unprecedented crisis of COVID-19. Like I said, I regret that the folks that we lost to these things here, and I hope we all can grieve together and celebrate together too. It's coming to an end. It's only a couple of days left, so I'm gonna pass the mic to Vice President so agenda here, and then I'll come back to different points and everything else. All right, thank you, Steve. If you're ready to say something, you can take over right now. I'm with myself.
Thank you very much, President Francois. Sisters and brothers, we're delighted to see you. You've been on all of our minds in this historic moment for us. We are facing an unprecedented pandemic. No one alive that now have ever experienced anything remotely like this crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic. And we're also in the middle of a pandemic of unbridled police murder, white supremacy, racism, as has never been seen before in the country. And it has brought with it, whenever there is repression, there will be resistance. And there is a most magnificent, not only countrywide rebellion of those that have been oppressed and those that are supporting the struggle against racism, but it's a global. And we are expecting some guests on the line. You'll see number 2 on the agenda. We will be dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement. But let me just add one thing onto what President Francois had said about the item number 1A. You know, the last time we addressed most of you, it was on the yard meetings that we had the day before they canceled school. And we had told you we had met with the city. And at that point, they hadn't even talked about canceling school. And our people were in serious danger. And as a union that believes in standing up for our members' rights, we had to take action. Fortunately, we were able to negotiate an unprecedented memorandum of agreement, which you all know about because you've been paid. Your pay, your benefits, continuing on, not only for those that participated in this wonderful program to feed Boston's children, which I should mention, Transdev, this criminal corporation, has done nothing. They've been an obstruction to all of our efforts, nothing new to this union. Everything that we won, and you'll hear about it in health and safety, was over the unbridled, cruel conduct, mismanagement, inability to protect our people by Transdev, it led us to an unprecedented arrangement between us and the mayor of the city. You all know you got a robocall from the mayor about what we've been doing. The authority to bankroll the program that we had was done at the top echelons of City Hall. And we were even able to get some of our people that were returning from leaves of absence when the company didn't want to pay them. We've corrected about 9 of those cases. We still have a few left. You'll hear later, company in a vicious, cruel manner fired some of our people in the middle of this pandemic, and we're fighting those. So I know there are other agenda points we have to update you on, but I think you should be proud. People throughout the country, we participated in webinars that we were in the vanguard of getting our people protected. And I would just make one note that if you hadn't had an opportunity to meet John Bonapane, this is a great staff representative. It's not somebody that just came out of some labor college. John is us. He's come from the streets. He's still the president of the National Grid workers who had an 8-month valiant struggle against the lockout of what we called National Grid. So the unity between the local and the international is strong. And that's it for me for now. Andre, thank you very much. Andre, I think you need to unmute, my brother.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I was on mute since I've been talking. I was saying for B, item B on the agenda, as every contract settlements, as every MOAs, always the company on the other side committing violation. As a result of all these violations that the company committing against that MOA, we put in a class action grievance that had all these violations be resolved. So some of them resolved. We still have a couple issues, 2 or 3 issues left that we're still working on. It's the firing of 2 lobby workers that wrongly terminated. Is terminated after the date, after the March 17th agreement was signed, which was wrong. There was a lot of violation. There's a lot of wrongdoing. It's very optimistic that we're going to win that before you even go in front of the arbitrator. But it's scheduled to go pretty soon. So some of the things, one of the things that is not remain unsolved is the disinfecting of the place completely, where the company is getting paid to do this, and they're not doing the right thing on that. Since we kept you pretty much safe and everything, but since we got them on a few things that they weren't doing normally, we're still after them. I have to let you know about that too, because all in all, you're doing all right, because after we were able to stop the flow of people dying, people getting exposed to the major things, but there are some things that we have to to fix on that, because we have some classroom that we're gonna be, the company was gonna be doing around licenses and everything. So we know that we're gonna continue to make sure you're safe in there and you're not exposed to any bad stuff. So we're going after the company on that end of it, plus the 2 terminations that we are very optimistic that we're gonna win. Again, if anybody from the panel would like to say something about B, it's the time. Pretty much, we have a few members here that can tell you about the health and safety issues, because they were there just about every morning before everybody else get there. We were there. So I'll give the members, the leaders, an opportunity to talk about what they were able to do and things they were able to solve, the report that they had to write. We've been here with the company when they come on the call on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had a call every day, actually, daily meeting, but it comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. To hear our frustration, our demands, and our solutions to things, and the suggestions and everything else, and some of the things that they were doing wrong, and we give them all the grief that we had to give them.
Ask Steve K for Stack, Andre, when you get a chance.
Steve K, go ahead.
So the other thing, members, about the class action grievance, it will not only cover those workers that had return documentation that the company has not put in to our agreement to get paid, and there's a handful of those. Care Dupuis, we've been talking about since they cruelly and unjustly terminated him on the 18th, the day after they closed down school. Claude Nelson's another, but there's also, we have raised all the issues around health and safety you're going to hear more about, including this corrupt, incompetent, and dangerous so-called disinfecting company. That's in the class action grievance. And today on the call, we were finally able to get Jeff Carty to agree through his lawyers to our lawyers to schedule the arbitration immediately on those. And even though we are in the COVID period, our attorneys have told us we are able to do virtual remote arbitrations, and we plan on fighting to get that justice as soon as we can. You know, item C, while we're on it, our contract reopener, just so you know, we have demanded the reopener was supposed to take place this spring because of the pandemic and the crisis. They have been ducking us, and the company has been ducking us. We have been demanding these things take place with the mayor because the reopener was really negotiated in the Eagle Room with Mayor Walsh. And so we will continue to fight for that because retirement rights are very, very big for us. I will only say now that we know that there is no summer work. But that's it for now. Andre, I'll hand it back to you on the remainder of those reports. And I think perhaps some of our guests have appeared on the Black Lives Matter issue. And I'll just end by saying we are hopeful. Any attendee can ask any questions you have when you look at your screen at the Q&A part, but we're going to hold answering the questions just like at a yard meeting until all the reports have been given. That's it for me, Andre.
Thank you, Steve. We'll go back to Steve because Steve always covers actually Steve. Yeah, summer work and unemployment. We start with summer work first. summer work, there won't be any summer work. That's what we were told by by the city official, by BPS, that there won't be any summer
Okay.
or any summer program. Somebody said something?
Yeah, I think we skipped the retirement thing.
Oh, retirement rights?
Yes.
See, the contract should be reopened?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay. Let me talk about retirement rights then. I thought she covered that a little bit, what he was talking about, see. Yeah, the retirement rights is the same as it is now on the contract, except for last time we were listening to the superintendent in the Globe talking about concerning the COVID-19 crisis, talking about some of the good numbers of the drivers are 60 and up, but she didn't elaborate on what she's gonna do about this and what is up about this. There was some women scattered about she's gonna stop them from working. We said our life body, that living body, we not gonna allow people to force them to retire. It'll be first of all age discriminations and things like that nature. It's gonna be a fight. But we still have the 15 as the contract called for. You remember there was a time there was going to be some layoffs in order to correct the layoff. This is a testament on how this union is fighting for its members. This local is fighting for its members. They were going to be laid off quite a bit of people, about 23 of them. At that time, we usually have 10. So he jacked up the 23 to, the 10 to 33 people, I think, that was that year. So I anticipate, it's my opinion, it's not anywhere I read that, but I anticipate something like this can happen, but where they might offer some people that wants to leave some things. The company actually sent letters to a lot of folks from 30 years of service and
Hey, Steve.
with deadlines and everything. So we're gonna make sure your right is protected, whether you wanna go or you wanna stay. You're gonna have your rights covered under this contract because, like I said earlier in the thing, we are a union shop, and we can't allow a whole lot of bad things and unlawful things happen to our members. So you won't have to worry about your retirement rights on that one. But we're gonna be negotiating to see if we can increase in the numbers if they can't open it wide open for people that had services, the 30 years of service. We even gonna try to bring it down when it's ready. But when last time the reason why we couldn't bring it down is because there were too many people with 30 years and plus, and then there was a number of people that could retire. So that was impossible to bring it down to 25. But we still have in mind to enhance that part of retirement rights, because it's not fair to folks that wants to go and they won't let our people go. because they afraid to spend money. And they have plenty of money, especially now in federal government giving them all types of stimulus, and so they're going to hear from us that we're going to protect our members all throughout. I don't know if you're satisfied with this. If anybody else have anything to say about retirement rights, it's the time on the panel, guys. Just let me know. Unmute yourself and let me know. Other than that, I'm going to move to D.
Andre?
As I started before talking about D.
Andre?
In unemployment. Summer work in unemployment.
Andre, can you hear Steve Gillis? He's trying to get your attention.
Steve, are
Unfortunately,
you on the stack, Steve?
yeah.
All right.
I mean, I just had
Let me move on then.
I think you have a.
Summer work. I started saying
Andre,
there won't be
Andre,
any summer work.
Andre.
We heard that from BPS.
Andre,
And
Andre, you missed
matter of fact,
Steve.
we
I think
Andre,
that's
Steve
about
Gillis is trying to get to the mic.
yeah. I don't know how much you heard from me. I just realized I was on mute for a little while.
Andre, can you hear me?
Summer work. I just started talking about summer work.
You may not be hearing Steve Gillis, but he's trying to get onto the stack. Andre, if you can hear me, just call on Steve Gillis.
Go ahead, Steve.
You know, to all the members, I see there's about 130 of us on here now. I'm getting a lot of text from people who are, you know, having problems, and I thank you for sharing and spreading the word around and helping all of us get on this event. For people that aren't able to get on, I want to let people know that it's going to be.
Yeah, Steve, you were trying to get on?
Yes, for people that are not able to get on.
Gillis?
I think what the problem is that Andre has very weak
That's good?
connection.
All right.
Hear us.
I'm on.
Andre, Steve Gillis is speaking now. I'm not sure why you're not hearing him, but he was right in the middle of his presentation. So if we can let Steve finish his presentation, that would be great.
Yeah. Hold on. I got Andre on the phone. I'm more so to let him know that he's not coming in well.
One thing, you know, and we thank you very much for your patience, everybody who's watching. This is very new to us. We've just had to, you know, learn this technology as we're forced, most of us, to stay home, and we want to be able to keep up communications. So this is our very first attempt at this. And, you know, this is a great learning experience for all of us.
I'm hearing him, but I can hear him all the time.
One of the things that you could tell Andre is that the bandwidth, the Wi-Fi at his house is being taken up. And maybe if there are other people at his house who are using the Wi-Fi, you could ask them to come off of it. That would help him. Just on the question of retirement, you know, we'll get to how we won, like pulling teeth from the company, all of the health and safety protocols and procedures and equipment and bathrooms and tents and everything. We'll get to that on the agenda in a couple of minutes, but you know, we're going to win retirement for our people by fighting for it, by waging a campaign this summer, by putting it in our demands to the company, to BPS, to the city, that as the whole world is saying, we will not be treated like second-class citizens anymore. The Boston school bus drivers, unlike the teachers, unlike custodians, unlike any other union in the city of Boston, workers who have given our entire lives of service to the city of Boston, whenever they want to retire, if they have 1,000 teachers who need to retire because they put in their years of service and they have reached the age of retirement, then they're allowed to retire and they need to hire 1,000 more teachers. We need to wage a campaign, I think, with the ferocity that we have waged the campaign to protect each other, to protect our co-workers, to protect all the humans at the Freeport Yard in the last couple of months. We need to wage a campaign that says, let my people go if they have the time. And this will be a decision that we will make, whether in this COVID-19 pandemic, the union together will allow buses to roll again if they don't do justice and safety and health and retirement rights for our people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gilles. Yeah, I speak quite a bit on summer work, that there won't be any available summer work. I can go to unemployment. When we first started with this thing here, with COVID-19 crisis, there were a lot of problems with people getting on unemployment. You couldn't get through. Every time you call, you only get one shot, one call out of the blue. If you're lucky, you spend 2-3 hours on calls. Sometimes they don't even date you and they tell you to send some emails somewhere. Most of the people that experience this issue, there were people that didn't have a login ID and password. Not so much a login ID, because the login ID is your social security that you have to put twice on the box. And after you check that box for disclaimer that you're going to tell the true number twice, they take you to the password place where you have to put a minimum of 8-digit password, which composed with letters, numbers, capital letter, at least one capital letter, one character, and numbers, at least 8. If you didn't have that, you had what they call a PIN number. The PIN don't get you nowhere but a call. But a call, you have to find somebody or a machine that can help you out. So most of the people that experienced the problem were these people, because at the time they did the PIN issue, they didn't have all these electronic login and online things. They had a number, a phone number that wasn't working. That was working at that time, but no longer had it. And they changed numbers, and they can't get that phone to get that code to reset your PIN or to log in with the password, with one of those 8-digit passwords. So these problems still going to exist coming up by June 23rd. We told the company that they are responsible to try to get the unemployment officials at the office to send a link to facilitate, to make things easy, a little bit easy for the members to be able to get on unemployment. And when you get on there is a part where they talked about COVID, due to COVID or due to lack of work and everything. You always have to pick up the COVID part, where you can get the $600 bonus that is good till July 31st. We don't know yet if they're talking about extending it to a later date, but as of now, it's July 31st. That's on there to get that. And then after that, you can do pretty much want to pay taxes, don't want to pay tax on it, but I would suggest that you do that. I'm not getting in your personal business on how you do things, because when they get back to you on a lot of things that you report, you shouldn't be reporting and everything, it puts your family in problems to get money to feed your family. You see, imagine if we had to do that since March, we didn't do getting you the money that we get to your flat rates and everything. Because a lot of people talk about the advantage that they would have in $600, but you wouldn't have the company match, you wouldn't have your loan paid, and your salary for the whole year would be very low, and you wouldn't be able to tell people what you're doing now. I guess for a minute, but it's to show you that that's the unemployment going to have to be done right. I'm going to extend my help to you. It's not like I don't have enough to do. You can see a lot of you is calling me just about every day, every second, like I was the only one in the union to help people out. I feel a feeling call all to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, midnight, telling people I call you back the next day. People talking about licenses, everything else under the sun as far as the contract and everything. So I've been pretty much busy, but still I'm gonna ask you if you need some help with unemployment or questions and stuff like that. You have the company to call as well, but I can help out as far as that, because once I get a chance to get in your thing,
Andre?
yes.
Andre?
So
Andre, nobody is able
this is what I have to the seat. Hello? Nobody is able to what?
Andre,
I can hear.
your Wi-Fi connection is so bad that most of what you've said, I've not been able to understand you. I think maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I apologize. The Wi-Fi connection at your house is very bad. So I want to suggest that I see that Brock Satter from Mass Action Against Police Brutality is here. Would you mind moving the agenda to that, back up to that subject?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can do that. We do that now from the two. Mm-hmm.
I think we should, if you don't mind. We
Yeah.
that waiting for Brock to get on, and this will be a good time if you agree.
Now I'm experiencing some problems with my Wi-Fi, so I would suggest that I put the FTP that Black Lives Matter Representative Black Side on the line. So Brock, you're welcome to start speaking with the membership.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Can y'all hear me? I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear, bro.
Okay, great. Hey, thank you, Andre. Long time no see.
Long time. It's been busy a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry to hear about your situation, and yeah, I think there's a lot more of that coming down the pike in a lot of other industries. So that's something we all need to really discuss in the broader labor movement, which that'll be interesting to have some time. I know I'm an airline worker, a shop steward at the airport where I'm at, and pretty much come October, I think you're gonna see massive layoffs in the airline industry. But because they took the federal money, they can't furlough anybody just yet. So we'll see what happens there. But as far as the topic I was asked to speak, first I want to clarify, I'm not Black Lives Matter. I'm a member of Mass Action Against Police Brutality.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, I know. But it's important to clarify because there are differences. And this whole movement has kind of been termed Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I should have done better. I'm sorry, but
no, I'm just saying this to explain to those who don't know, because it kind of obscures who's actually leading things on the ground and actually what we're fighting for. Because Black Lives Matter is kind of it's a general statement, but it doesn't really. It's not a demand, And that was part of the problem with the upsurge after Mike Brown, which was the central demand in the beginning weeks, was justice for Mike Brown, hands up, don't shoot. It became obscured and derailed really, but and the end result was, there was no real pressure, focused pressure on the government in Ferguson, and Darren Wilson was never indicted, and for all those protests. I've been speaking at rallies. Hope Coleman, who's this person right here, her son was killed, by Boston police in 2016. We went to Ferguson last year on the request of Mike Brown Sr. To stand in solidarity with that family in August on the 5th year anniversary of Mike Brown's killing. And what that family is demanding, which is the same thing we demanded here for several families in Boston, is that their cases be reopened. Their sons were killed by police, by the government, and no real investigation was held. And there was a lot of discrepancies in the investigation, disputed facts, which all points to the fact that this needs to go to trial so we can clarify, get to the truth of the matter. But, we've been around long enough. Those who've seen these things in society know that cops do lie. They're capable of lying. In fact, they do it very often, habitually. But also the problem goes above the police, and that's one of the things that Mass Action has been bringing to the fore, and what we, as part of fighting to help lead this movement, think is the heart of this fight, which is, as much as there's a lot of discussion of defunding the police, which is fine, we're not opposed to that at all. We're very concerned that the center of the fight remain fixated in everyone's mind, which is prosecution of the police, the fight for justice, the fight to put criminal cops behind bars, and that's the real point where the government is really dug in real deep. We've made chinks in the armor over 5 years, and a lot of sweat and tears and blood. There's been dead activists, and no investigations on that. One of the things that we call for is an investigation for the murder of Darren Seals, one of the Ferguson protest leaders who was found with the shot in the head, and his car was set on fire, and no investigation held. But we're just fighting to put pressure on the DAs to do their job, to indict criminal police. And, there's no statute of limitations on murder. So it doesn't matter if it didn't happen in your tenure, which is what we said to Rachel Rollins on Tuesday. You're still responsible for safeguarding the rights of the populace. And if somebody's rights have been wronged in your jurisdiction in this county of Suffolk, then it's your responsibility to investigate. And you have citizens who've been out here protesting for years, raising this. This is actually the first time we ever got a public response from Rachel Rollins, which is quite interesting. And it just shows the times, the power of these protests, all the measures you've seen passed from city after city, just in a matter of a couple of weeks, I think really show the power of the protests. And also, the grotesque killing of George Floyd, in and of itself would make a protest. But this is actually, as we all know, much deeper than that. I know we were prepared to protest a couple of weeks earlier, but because of COVID concerns, we decided not to after the Ahmaud Arbery case in Georgia, where, he was hunted by 3 vigilantes, one a former cop. The police never arrested them. And then 3 DAs refused to indict until a viral video came out forcing the state government to step in and charge them. So basically, once the George Floyd hit, it was like, hey, it doesn't matter. We have to take the streets because not only is there a pandemic of COVID, but there's a pandemic of police brutality. And really, the PPE for police brutality is protest. So I think we've seen evidence of that. And I mean, there's been a number of obvious brutality against the protesters, and further murders. This brother was shot in Atlanta who was killed recently. But also, there have been some indictments as well, and I think that's all a result of the pressure of the protests. So we're concerned that we maintain focus and make sure we place the families in the center of this fight. And we're calling on everyone who calls in action, anybody who's going to say anybody's name. You can't say their name if you don't put their demands at the center of the protest. And the basic demands of the families, the people who've been most affected by this directly, is simply justice. That's number one. So what they do in the past, they'll give you little reforms. It's all to calm people down, and then they ratchet it back up. But they let the cops walk. And why do the cops keep killing? It's because they get away with it. And we need to put a stop to that. And that's the center of this fight. How do we make the cops accountable? And one of the most sweeping demands is the demand to reopen all past cases of police brutality throughout the country. That's what we're putting forward. Because, there's just a history of prosecutorial bias to the point now where we just have to go back and look. And we have so many families, some who have stopped, but really hundreds, thousands, probably tens of thousands that are still fighting for justice, never received a day in court. So we're trying to keep that as one of the central demands of this fight, and trying to get the support of the labor movement to broaden this fight. One of the things we're doing in this regard is we're joining a call for a National Mothers March in Minneapolis on July 12th. And one of the things we hope to see is like possibly a caravan coming out of Boston, linking up with other cities along the way and other families and their supporters converging. Sharpton called a march on Washington coming out of the Floyd funeral, commemorating the Civil Rights March, led by Martin Luther King. But, he hasn't been a part of this fight probably for at least since before Ferguson, because when he went to Ferguson, the protesters didn't want to hear from him. They said, "You weren't here for the gas and face the rubber bullets. And now you want to come? No, thanks. We'll take matters into our own hands." And they kind of changed the trend of how police brutality has been dealt with, probably since the civil rights movement. And now we're in another upsurge. So that's part of the importance of this march, is to make sure the families can speak for themselves, and that Sharpton can't just put himself in front of this and try to speak for the families. And the families' demands are for justice. You can't negotiate away that piece of it off the table. This fight's not over until we get there, and that's we think this is deep. The magnitude of these protests are much, much greater than the Ferguson era. But the same thing that triggered it wasn't funding levels. It was the fact that police were murdering the population and getting away with it. That's why these protests exploded, and they will explode again if it continues. And if you don't hold police accountable, it will continue. So that's kind of our contention. We want to work with the bus drivers union. We have this big event tomorrow. It's turned out to be probably going to be, I'm sure it'll be over 1,000, maybe much larger than that, I don't know. But it's we're calling a musical speak out and rally. It seems like the police, or the stance of the Boston city government right now is kind of lay off. We see much less police presence in the protests from like the first one we called. So we were not anticipating any problem, but we would if anyone is available to help, just be present at this event to help marshal, to de-escalate situations. That would be great. We definitely, would like to hear from the bus drivers union at this thing, and we've appreciated your support all this time. And yeah, the whole thing for this, Funk the Police, it is a fundraiser for the families. They will be present. Hope Coleman, Rahima Rahim, mother of Sama Rahim, who was killed in 2015, and Carla Sheffy, son, Bo Ramsey, was killed in 2012. So I won't take any more time of your meeting. I really appreciate being invited. I think this, we could present, mass action and the bus drivers union, a model for other cities to, to follow of, how this fight links up with the labor movement, and how we can make it a powerful political force, something that's more powerful than the country's seen in any recent time, at least. But that's all I got. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, Buck. I'm on my phone now. I can hear better and I can sound better. Yeah, I corrected this time. Mass action against police brutality. Shame on me. I should have been doing better than that. All right.
Hey, we know where you stand, man. We're good.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later.
Wait, may I make a comment?
Yes, go ahead, Gillis.
I just wanted to point out that this exciting event tomorrow night at Ronan Park, which is in Dorchester. It's that huge hill that rises up out of the Freeport bus yard. I think it's called Meeting House Hill. Am I right, Brock?
I'm not actually sure.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the right hill, right?
But it is that park. Yes, it's on a big hill. It's beautiful. It's got this great view of the ocean from there. It should be really an amazing setting.
Yeah, just in case people wondered where it was, it's that hill that rises up out of the Freeport bus yard. It's on top behind the cathedral. It was some years ago, I think it was 2016, part of my memory, that the police in Boston answered a 911 call of around, I believe, a mentally ill young man on Shamet Avenue in 2016. And instead of getting him help, they shot him to death in front of his mother named Hope. And at that time, as part of our solidarity, the union had voted to, extend some money toward the buying of a gravestone for Terrence Coleman. We've been out there saying his name in the park that should be named after him in the south end of Washington, between Washington and Shamet. We're calling it Terrence Coleman Park from now on. Just like we began calling Nubian Square a long time ago, just like we've been there to tear down the Christopher Columbus statue and everything else that's happening in this country of major changes. And I just wanted to remind the members of that vote that we took, because it's just now. Brock is telling me that the family has been able to get up enough money for a gravestone, and I'd like to let the members know, even though this isn't like a voting membership meeting because we don't have our technology down about that yet, that we are going to fulfill our obligation around that. And we would also like to find out how we can be helpful, with the transportation needs and going to the march and other things that Mass Action is talking about in Minneapolis or Washington, D.C. And so, thank you for coming on, Brock. It's been great to march with you in the streets almost every day the last 2 weeks. And
if I can just say one more thing, because we do plan to participate in the Washington March as well. Not to get it twisted, but this is kind of for the families to, I guess, just unite as a force, independent of Sharpton going, and they all plan to also go to DC as well, but to speak for themselves.
Okay, thank you, Black. With all sincerity, we're gonna be joining with you in support, and representing local 751 in with your effort. We have a resolution and a way to help defund the police and fund the school, and join in with your struggle around that there. In, we guys in the panels, we tonight are we entertaining any vote to make any donations to mass action against police brutality, or we done that already? I don't remember.
I was mentioning a vote, Andre, that we took in 2016, and it's now timely to make that vote real. And I think, when we get our technology together, when we're able to take votes at a membership meeting, this is just an informational meeting because we're learning this technology. We're not going to take votes tonight, is my understanding. And even as financial secretary, that would be maybe next month we're going to have it together for that. Yeah.
All right, appreciate that.
Steve K for Stack.
Steve K, we have some people in the attendees, although we said we will answer a question afterwards, but they're saying that they never got anything around summer work, unemployment, and license issues. I know we didn't get to license yet. What do you think? Go ahead for Stack.
Yes, I was just going to say before moving on the locals' participation and solidarity with this righteous rebellion that's going on throughout the country and throughout the globe, that we have been not only supporting our wonderful friends at Mass Action Against Police Brutality, but our young friends at the For the People group, the Boston Marxist Association, who are doing a lot of work to serve the community and to provide resources, both care packages, so-called, for protesters, including masks and other materials that are necessary, as well as some community great efforts. So the members will be hearing more about that. But I did notice that earlier in our call today, we had told the company we wanted them to have Jim Pine from the training and licensing department to be able to come on to this call and give the members the information they need about licensing, about physical examinations, about how to proceed in this period, some of the extensions that have been granted. And I know Jim Pine is prepared to come on now. He had also asked us, I think he'll be prepared to do some screen sharing. I'm suggesting perhaps we interrupt the agenda and bring on Jim Pine now. That's it, Andre.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement with that. We can stop the agenda, get Jim Pine in, and after that we continue with the meeting. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. How are you?
Jim. Pleasure to see you.
This is honestly a tough act to follow because I know, I'm sure like most of you have been glued to the news channels and the Twitter feeds and the marching and everything for so long. So I appreciate all your efforts and everything that you guys have been doing. So that's just amazing work. So hello everyone. If you guys don't remember me, James Pine from the Safety Department. We have kind of pulled and dragged the RMV along to finally let us do some online training to catch you guys back up, because we've lost March and April and May, and so there's some of you guys that are a little bit behind. That's okay. Obviously, it's not affecting anything right this moment, but obviously we want to get everyone done and, you know, before we all start back up as soon as we end up doing that. So literally this week, we finally worked on a system that we have used previously with some other departments. It's a TransDev system called the e-learning system. And it's going to grant you guys the ability to take your training classes from the comfort of your home. I don't want to be a salesman here, but this is one of the best deals that we've had here in a while, because these are easy 15-minute videos. Some of them may be 20 tops, but I think it's around 15, 20 minutes that are going to count for a whole hour of your training. So if you take a video, you complete the course online, that's going to count for 1 hour of your training. And then if you guys know, you need 8 hours to get your license. So as we were talking about it today, you know, everyone here has been in a class. Once we finally get all the bugs out and, you know, we get everyone sitting down and everyone stops talking and all this stuff, you're probably getting, you know, 45 minutes to an hour tops anyway. So this is, you know, just you and the computer one-on-one. You're going to get the maximum information for you. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how to log in. All right. Or I'm going to show you the system on my information. I think we have sent out to Andre and Steve and those and Mr. Gillis and Gary. I think we sent out a list of most people, not all. I know we found a couple of bugs today, but we have a list of pretty much every driver. We have a username and a password, and the password is literally just password. It's really easy. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little screen sharing. Hopefully I don't screw this up. Share my screen. I'm going to share this. Okay, and this is what the system is going to, if I can get this out of my way. This one? Here it goes. All right, so this is what the website looks like. It's called transdev-elearning.net. Hold on, there's a way to do something here. Sorry. I practiced this a little earlier this morning. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that little arrow. So I'll try to
You maybe can enlarge the screen a little bit. If you're on a browser, you could increase the percentage view of the browser.
To me?
Yes, I did, if it's possible.
I think so. If I go up here.
There you go.
All right. Does that look better? All right. My little arrow. Okay. So if you see up here in the screen here, transdev-elearning.net. Okay. When you log in, this is the first screen you see. Okay. And with the list we provided today, you're going to get an email. So this says email, but it really can be email or username. As you can see, mine's jpine1303. So that's my, and then your password is just going to be all lowercase password. So yours is going to be simple. When you first log in, it's going to automatically ask you to change your password to whatever you want it to be. So it can, you know, whatever password you use, hopefully keep it simple, and we'll go from there. So I will go back to the mouse here. I'm going to submit. Okay, so this is the second screen. Once you're all logged in, you're going to come here. Okay. You're going to go, there's a home screen, a My Training, transcript, catalog. Catalog is where all your information is going to be held. Okay, this one right here. I'll give everyone a second to look at that and stuff. So catalog. So once you click on catalog, you're going to have some folders. And obviously the folder we're looking for is safety and training. Okay. And inside here, you have, I already have a couple of open ones, but you're going to basically go to monthly safety initiatives. So you open this like that. And then these are your classes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12. You can pick any 8 of them to get your hours. Okay. And all you do from here is you enroll. So as you can see, I've already kind of enrolled in a couple today and took some preventing rear end collisions. So I already got mine. So once you enroll, it takes you to the class. Now, Steve, I don't know if you want me to do one, but they're about 15 minutes. So I don't know if.
You know, if you're asking my opinion on that, I think, probably not tonight, but maybe we want to let people know about the office hours that are starting next week and how we're going to get a lot more information together. People can make appointments. The union will be putting out on text that, for instance, next Tuesday and Thursday and the week after that, and then there'll be follow-up Sundays, that kind of thing, Jim, about how we're going to have computers there and help everybody with this too. Yep. And that, we shouldn't panic about this. We're going to make sure everybody has a license by the time we're next to drive. Thanks.
Exactly. And from everything, so one of the things I would like to show you guys is here's the Mass Registry Motor Vehicles. Okay. Right on the very front page, you see the COVID response. Okay. When you click on the COVID response, commercial drivers. Okay. And right here, and I posted this to a few different people, but as you can, what's the best one here? Sorry. All right. So this is just CDLs alone. Okay. Anyone in between March 1st, 2020 and August 30 have all been extended. And some of them have extended all the way to December 20. Okay. As you can see. So there's no immediate rush. You don't have to, everyone doesn't have to be there Tuesday. So, if your birthday is coming up, let your fellow drivers who had birthdays a little earlier, let them try to come in first so we can get them squared away. And then we'll reach, if you're a September baby, don't worry about it. We'll get to you guys in a timely manner. All right. So that's that. Once you guys, so Tuesday we'll be there from 9 to, we're going to try to do 9 to 12. I'm sure I'll stay longer if need be. Don't worry. But here's one of the things that we're going to hand out. It's a hot.
Yeah,
Gary, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, listen, I got one question because I had several drivers call me because they have gotten a letter in the email, but I've been telling them the same thing Gillis has been saying. I've been telling them don't panic because they received a letter from DPU saying that if they don't more so less recertify by a certain date, they're going to downgrade their license. So I told them that they shouldn't be worried about that. Is that correct?
That is correct. You should not worry about it. So as you can see right here, medical certificates. This is right from the website itself.
Yeah, right. But right. But I just want everybody else to know that if our drivers have been worried about their license going to be downgraded, that everyone should tell them that not to worry because of the extension that we got.
Right. Yep. And the thing that, and just in case everyone, if you don't know, or maybe you didn't know, the thing that downgrades your license is your self-certification, and that comes from your medical certificate and your your actual physical. So as you can see, everything has been extended until September 30th. So again, we have some time. We're going to get everyone done, and we have some time. And this has been extended, I think, twice now since this whole thing has started. So, this is the number. This is the date today. Who knows? Next week it could change, but we'll always try to keep you guys up to date on that.
Jim, may I interrupt for just a
You certainly
second?
can. Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of questions via text, even as this meeting is going on, about medical certificates. I know the union last week sent out a text to those we have telephone numbers for that, the late Dr. Emma, his office is open again.
Yep.
It's open during COVID-19, and a lot of drivers have been going down there in the last couple of days, and we're working closely with them. If you have any problems with them, you could let me know. But that's an alternative, and it's the $95 they're charging now. The company is reimbursing all of that.
Correct.
As well. So.
Yep. One of the things sorry.
Steve K for Stack for a moment.
Steve K, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the members know, we are delighted to have Brother Jim Pine on with us. This is somebody who is a union guy that knows us, has worked well with us. And as he said about even our struggles around this rebellion against racism and police brutality, we have him with us. So we believe this is a very important, valuable asset that we will have. I should mention this, it's coming up later on the agenda, that given the COVID pandemic that we're dealing with, both the city, BPS, the company, there's no one that has any definitive view as to when we will be driving school children again. And we want to make sure that everybody's ready. And as Jim just said, these extensions are now up to September 30th. It's quite possible that they may be extended again. But it's very good that we now have a remote vehicle to take care of this. There'll be more in terms of what's coming up even in the yards. But I think the watchword for everybody is we're going to take care of everybody. Nobody's going to be downgraded. Nobody's going to be out of their job because of a licensure issue. And on this one, unlike most of the issues that we deal with Transdev Corporation, they have an interest in making sure that we are all licensed. So I wanted to just make sure, I know everybody is anxious and stressed about this, but the union's very serious about making sure everybody has their rights. And, we could have had Carlton Jones come on the call tonight, and we're thrilled we don't. And we're delighted to have Jim Pine with us. And we look forward to working with Brother Jim to make sure our people are taken care of. That's it, Andre. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I would echo the same thing to Jim. When we were talking about it this evening after we took the caucus, our brother Gary was first to say that we would rather have Jim in there, and we took a vote. Actually, we all come unanimous on that, and anonymously on that. That you should be the one coming on the call. They will understand you better. You work with our folks like you were in the same union. So it's an honor to have you in there, and we're glad to see you in there because we had some bad stuff earlier. We were worried, and I'm sorry if you think we had anything with you, but because we couldn't hear you from you for a while. I didn't have a number for you to call you to check on you, but later one Gary gave it to me just the other day. Gary gave it to me. I only had the 7823. That's why you didn't hear from me.
Well,
you know how I feel about you, man.
I love you guys. You know that. So one quick update on a phone number. The company is actually finally, after a little while, I guess realized my usefulness here. They're getting me a work phone number, a cell phone number that they're paying for tomorrow or Monday. It's coming in the mail. So as soon as I have that, I'll give that to you guys for the body. Okay. The number that most of you guys have is my personal number, and I pay that bill. So try to keep that one to yourselves.
I hear you.
So I do want to quickly say I do apologize for, well, it's not a fully apology, but I do want to recognize that I had been absent a lot of March and April. I do want to say that I was unfortunately one of the few people that did get COVID. So when people do talk about it and they tell you the importance, I can tell you that there were nights that I had 911 dialed in my phone because I thought I was not going to make it. So when people tell you, or you're around people who aren't wearing masks or are downplaying the disease, don't listen to them. Listen to these guys that are keeping you safe and doing what's right for you. Okay, so whoever's listening to me, please just take that word of advice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Andre.
Thank you. One last thing I want to tell you about downgrading. It's true that if you do your self certification after that date, they won't downgrade you. But I saw one person that I had to have that person pay $25. I don't know if that happened before the extension, but I thought the extension should cover that. It's only one person. Most of the people passed the date. I was able to do their self-certification with them, with no problem, with no hiccups. So that's a true statement about they didn't have to worry about the downgrade.
Right. I mean, I would just keep an eye on that. I mean, we can check what dates and stuff that happened. I haven't personally heard of anybody since the time it's been changed, but I'm sure we can bring that up to that. I mean, paying people, that's not me. That's not a me question. You guys know that. That's a Jeff question. But I mean, we can certainly look into any issues that do arise. Actually, one of the things I was just thinking about with self-certification, and you guys know me and how much I love technology and how much this has been a dream for me. Doing this right now is just so awesome. That in the very near future, if you guys want, we could set up a class like this and I can do a self-certification thing over this. If you guys want to do something like that, it's up to you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Gillis, go ahead.
Oh, absolutely, Jim. Now that we're learning this technology as well, we can put it to a lot of uses, and especially as our members are now getting used to it tonight and will in the future. We envision this technology, as part of our health and safety program, it's actually going to make us better at communications with each other, because we sort of have to do this for health and safety as well, to be distant and separate and such. I wanted to mention, maybe even to wrap this up, that the union was on a conference call meeting with Jim and Jeff Carty, the general manager of the company today, and the other safety department manager. And we're having a meeting with them either tomorrow or Monday, but before Tuesday, so that we can get a lot more of the details out to people. And when we do that, we'll be sending out office hours and details and such like that on our union mass text, which you probably learned about this meeting from. So I look forward to seeing you, Jim, in a meeting, tomorrow or very soon. And it's really glad to have you back, and we really appreciate you being here today for sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I know we're still trying to work out the full details on how to get everyone done on Tuesday. So I can't give you the full details, but I know I'll be there, and I'm sure. I know we're meeting tomorrow to work out some of the details there, and as soon as we get that, we'll get that obviously to you guys. But real quick, my last thing I'd like to say is if you see this document, or maybe not, but we have a sort of a how-to on the e-learning guide, which I personally used today to learn how to do this. So I can tell you it's pretty easy. I hear Gary again. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, I just wanted to emphasize to our members, brothers and sisters, that who's going to be attending, is something they have to be diligent by more than showing up there with masks, and if they can, have rubber gloves. Just don't show up and walk into your space. So you have to also show up at the office with your mask and gloves on. That's it.
That was kind of soft, but I think he was mentioning PPE, which I think we're all going to be masks, gloves. We're going to have the full works. So us personally, definitely bring your own too, just to be safe. Is there I don't know if I can see questions, but if do you guys have any questions for me?
Well, we're pretty much all set. If the members attendees ask us for questions, that pertain to you, we'll pass it on next time we talk or we see.
Yeah, I'm pretty much open to do this pretty much whenever. I love this idea. I love this. Anytime you need me, just give me a holler.
Yeah, we can get you on a 3 o'clock daily 3 o'clock meeting too if we need.
I don't know about that, but no, I'm just kidding. Anytime you guys need me, let me know. Okay.
We will let you know. Yeah, we'll send you a text first and ask you if you can come on.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll let you guys take care of business, and I'll see some of you guys on Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
We really appreciate that. We mean it to the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye. You take care. Yes, guys at the panel, do we go back or recap some of the things that people couldn't hear when my internet wasn't good? If I'd known that, I could have been on the cell phone since the start. It's really the house one.
Steve K for Stack.
Steve K, go ahead.
Yeah, probably. I think it would be helpful if we went to the Local 8751 Emergency Health and Safety Task Force. That's something that's on a lot of members' minds, and we could do that and go through the agenda and then return back if we needed to. That would just be my suggestion.
Your suggestion is my suggestion too. It's a suggestion of all the panelists. I'm sure of, especially when we had some issues with the with logistic of the meeting. It's our first meeting, so we can go ahead and do health and safety. Thing there. You guys ready to talk about that? The three of you that.
All right, Andre, go ahead. If you want to start with the emergency health and safety task force, let's go for it.
Yeah, but you're the first guy that has to start with it. Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. So thank you also, because I see we almost have 100 and up participants. That's a great a sign of people have been interested to what the union are gonna tell them. And regarding my report, I'm gonna be very short because I understand that no matter what is a remote control, is a remote meeting, but I know people keep on running around the house. They have stuff to do. We don't have to take all their times. What we have been usually do during the emergency health and safety report, we make sure we write a report to let the leadership knows what we have been seeing down there at the Freeport yard. And one of the things we did also, it was very important for our members. We want to make sure, like the leadership, we care for their health and their safety, because we know the company is not gonna be. They don't have any reason to be careful for anybody. They can tell us the place have been cleaned, the buses have been disinfected, and we want to make sure we see what they tell us. That's why this committee have been created. And also one of the things the committee have been doing, and he did, we tell them we're not gonna let the driver keep on warning on each buses to know exactly which bus they're gonna drive. All those 13 buses was gonna be out to do the food delivery. We asked the company to bring them up where usually the parking lot is. That's mean any driver who's gonna do this food delivery, they don't have to walk all over the yards where the parking lot, the big parking lot for the buses are located, to find their bus. And this is a great accomplishment. Most of the people who come in, the 13 or maybe 16, sometimes they call to coming in. You just have your bus right there as soon as you finish with your bid process. The bid process, we tell them also, we cannot allow our drivers to go inside the facility because, you know, people keep on, no way someone gonna keep the 6 feet distance. Because one way or another, we got monitors, drivers going in and out. We tell them, and I think this is one of the great accomplishments of the top leadership, especially Steve Gillis. He have been pushing for a tent, and the tent you see out there, some driver who have been doing the food delivery, it wasn't something easy. They tell us they're gonna order it. They take almost a couple of days before they do that, et cetera, et cetera. We keep on pushing. We tell them if they don't buy any type of tent, because the first tent they gave us, it was a light one, something, you know, it can be destroyed by the rain, you know, when it's raining, you know, the tent just going down. We tell them they have to buy something solid because we're gonna use it until the COVID-19 have been over. And we don't know when the COVID-19 gonna be over. We want something more solid. And we push for that. This is one of the reasons you see the tent out there. And also we make sure they have a standard of operation procedure. That means you're calling people 1 week or 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 days ahead before they know what they're gonna do. And also you have to listen to the drivers, which day they're gonna be available, you know? And also if someone has a health issue, you know, we have to do this. You have to take that in consideration. We push them also. We heard from our drivers, some of them, they have been threatening them or by telling them, oh, if you don't come, they're gonna do it. We tell them you don't have any right to threat our driver. They have been stopped that. And also one of the most important things, we tell them no mask, no ride. Everybody have to be masked up in all times. This is very interesting because what happened, and I have to tell you, I'm gonna tell you a story about that. When you put the sign out there regarding no mask, no ride, they think we are joking. The union have been joking because while they have some monitors, they smoking, they drinking their coffee on the bus while the driver keep on driving, you know, doing the food delivery. We tell them no way because COVID-19 is serious. We already know that, like the president started the meeting already. We take a few minutes of silence for our brothers and sisters who have been passed away. Some of them, they are not COVID-19, but some they are. This is a very serious disease. And they have a driver by the name of Wendy Vincent. Everybody knows Wendy Vincent. And they have 2 monitors who keeping their mask down to their chin. And then he tells them, you have to put their mask on. If you don't put it up, I'm gonna bring you back. They think this guy have been joking. In the middle of the food delivery, he drove back those 2 monitors. And that's have been a big issue for the school department and some other people around the yard. You know, they have to just monitor out of the bus. And he said, I'm coming in to do my job and I'm here to be a volunteer. Just, I need another monitor who want to cooperate with me. This is one of the things the union have been pushed for. And I think it's a great victory. No matter what, you coming in the yard, I don't know what time it's gonna be. People have to be to wear their mask, if in case to put their gloves on, etc. Try to be safe. We have so many other things also we have been doing. Job action regarding, we are the one who put the signs out. The company doesn't care. They're calling about, they said, oh, we don't have the printer. Our printer doesn't work. Steve, the union, we did that. We print our sign to make sure people can see no mask, no ride, where the bid gonna happen, what kind of precaution everybody has to take during this period, this difficult time. And also we tell them, if you think the school gonna reopen and you gonna use this facility, and also doing the food distribution, we push for touchless dry hand. We push for they have to renew the bathrooms, and they did that. For some of you, you went down there, you can see what was happening. This is the union as the one who make them doing the stuff. The doorways where everybody doesn't have to touch the door with their hand. We don't have to use the knobs to open the door. This is some of the stuff we're thinking about that. We push them. Some of them, they have been start working on them. And I think the entrance, they don't have it yet, but we talked personally with one of the BPS representatives. I think his name is, they're gonna work on it before the opening or before September to get those things ready. And during the food distribution, we have been doing some activity also at the Freeport yard, like the Asian Day Parade for our community. No matter what, Blue Hill Avenue doesn't have any big event, but us, few of us, we have been proudly opening, carry our flags and make a little speech and bring in some song, etc. It was very interesting. And another great thing we have been did also, it was the Workers' Memorial Day. Listen, those brothers, we know them, we know them for a long period of time, especially Charlie Roy. Everybody knows Charlie Roy. Charlie Roy, it is a guy we every one of us, we're gonna miss him. He was a great guy. Sometimes we get some upside and down. This is part of, that's why family is always like that. Nothing didn't go straight, but he's a good guy. And some of those folks like Yves Edouard, quiet guy. He's not really well known by so many people, but it is what it is. And we have Valbrun, and I know him, this guy. He's a hardworking man, and he passed away. We did a Memorial Day. This Memorial Day was something exceptional was happening on it also, brothers and sisters. The mechanics, they walking from the shop to the parking lot of the Freeport yard to come to join this Memorial Day. It was amazing. We take a few minutes of silence. We give a few speech because basically I have to let you know the reason why we do that. I learned that from Mother Jones, pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. We got to pray for them and we got to continue our fight. The death not gonna stop what we have to continue to do. And I'm gonna conclude by saying that the union also have been working hard by making some special masks with the logo on it. And those masks, they are washable. That's mean, you can, they are reusable. You can do, I think they are long life, anybody, this is one of the steps the union thinking about. Not, the company doesn't care. Give you the blue one, everybody already knows they are not efficient. They are not the good quality, but what we offer, people will say they need some, we have this, we have that. But we can see the picture right there. If any attendees who's watching this meeting, they are well represented so far. They are really good, and I'm proud to carry to wear one of those on my face. Proudly wearing my logo, Union Local 8751, who have been make that happen. This is during the time from March 27 until June 22nd. The union always at the Freeport yard to respond to all the questions, any comments. Like tomorrow, if anybody didn't get everything they need, because we understand that the sounds doesn't look like, for some very well, but, we're gonna be there if somebody need any questions or anything they wanna ask us, we're gonna be there. This is my part of that report, and any one of the panels, if they wanna add more stuff or if they can chime in.
Thank you, Fred. The next person will be Robert Sally, and then followed by Steve Gillis. That's got to take the last part of it. Robert Sally, if you're on, go ahead.
Yes. Fred pretty much had wrapped it up. I mean, as far as the mask, he pretty much said everything. But I just wanted to say one quick thing. On the mass, we've been distributing the masses since Wednesday from 6 to 9. So for those who has not received their mass, I mean, there was emails that was sent out concerning the mass. So if you have not received your mass, please come down to the Freeport Street Yard tomorrow between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. Possibly I might stay there till 10 o'clock. So if you haven't received your mask, come down to the Freeport Street Yard between the hours of 6 and 10 to pick up your mask. Okay, I'm all set.
All right,
Thank
Sally,
you.
not PM, Sally, AM, Sally. You made just to clarify that.
Okay, I
not
said PM. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. AM, yeah. Don't come down there PM because you get locked up, you can't get in. Okay, sorry about that. Thanks, Fred.
I got you, brother.
All right.
And then I'm going to add a little bit to this, not relating to health. If you haven't have your ADP on your phone, I can help you downloading ADP, or I can give you the link. I can send everybody the links again with the instruction. The instruction is nothing to it except for if you don't know the registration code, you won't get it. The registration code is actually TransDev NA-2014, all in big letters, cap letters. When they ask you for those for that registration, everything else is pretty much easy as long as you follow directions well. But I can help with that tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go down there maybe for an hour to try to help with that, because I know these days here a lot of people is looking for pay stubs for refinancing their home. They're looking for tax statement, and then right from that thing, if you have Wi-Fi at the house and a printer, you can print your thing. But because it's very hard to get Albertini to produce this stuff for you if you didn't have them around the house. So I can help with that. I'm gonna be down there for about an hour, like I said. Yeah, Gillis, go ahead, finish up with the health and safety if you got anything to add to everything, and then we can move on to the next steps. I appreciate that. Take care. Go ahead.
Thank you, Andre. I don't really have a whole lot to add to Fred and Rob and your excellent reports, except to say, and, just to summarize the history of the last 3 months. We were talking about it, but we talk about it every day at our meetings. But even recently, we've been talking about how we feel like we've been on strike for the last 3 months. We've been having to do job action after job action ever since day one. It was the union, even well before the company, well before the city, well before anybody else. In February and March, saw this pandemic coming at us, and we learned that they don't really care about us, as Michael Jackson said. We had to do it ourselves. We brought our health and safety trainers, Jamel and Dr. Endulcio, in before the shutdown even happened to do major educationals at the Saturday trainings around COVID-19, around how to protect ourselves, around how to take precautions with masks and temperature taking and hand washing. The most outrageous thing was, the company put out one memo to us the whole time, and it was wash your hands. And we had to actually do job actions and make demands. And it wasn't until 3 days ago that we could actually wash our hands properly at the Freeport bus yard. It was a disgrace to the company. But we're very proud that the union's emergency health and safety task force, was able to do what we've been trying to get them to do for 10 years. We made them entirely retrofit the bathroom at the Freeport Yard. How many times do we go to a meeting every day when the way they treat us in the disgusting bathrooms that they have had for us? We made them at the Freeport Yard fix the plumbing, tear down walls and put in a window, make the sinks, the dryers, the toilets, the urinals in the men's room. Everything is now touchless. You don't have to touch a thing, like in a hospital, like it should be, to protect ourselves. And just this week, they finally put in soap dispensers where we don't have to touch soap to wash our hands. So these kind of struggles have been so intense. We, as Fred mentioned, we've had job actions around Haitian Flag Day. We actually had to have a job action where we put union security at the gate, and we, at 5 o'clock in the morning, stopped food truck bosses. The workers are beautiful. The bosses are always awful. The food truck boss refused to put a mask on. And this was several weeks into the operation. We had Rob and Andre and myself, just 3 people there. And we stopped the truck from entering the yard. And after that day, we never had a problem with that boss. Again, we had it on video. I say this because in any idea of reopening in September, we don't know. And I'm sure a lot of people tuned in tonight to find out, what's happening. We don't know. We don't know because, one, the pandemic is so unpredictable. In Massachusetts, like at the Freeport yard, we have been very strict, very militant in having people wear masks, having social distancing, making sure that things are touchless, we refused from the first day. They tried to get us to all go into the Freeport bus yard. And we said, hell no, we're never going back in there again until this pandemic is under control to do anything like what we used to do. It was a 1 month long struggle where we had to stay outside in the pouring rain, in the wind whipping harbor, in the parking lot, and let them know, we're not going in the building, you're bringing a tent. And we made them spend $8,000 on a tent that now protects us. And they're gonna have to do these things at Reedville. They're gonna have to do all of these things at Washington Street. They're gonna have to have security. We're gonna have to have a lot stronger emergency union health and safety task force. So for all of you listening who want to get involved, we do, and we will be having meetings this summer to organize ourselves, both when we're at the Freeport yard around licenses and all of that, but to put together a enforcement, security, strong unions task force that lets them know in no uncertain terms, the buses do not roll in September or at any other time until the union says it's healthy and it's safe to go. So everybody get ready for that while we're fighting to let our people go who want to retire, while we're fighting for, keeping the right to transportation for children in the city of Boston. We're going to be fighting for our lives to continue, and we will not let the buses go until it's safe. So we want you to know that, and we thank you so much for your support this past 3 months and getting ready for the fight that's going to come in August and September to make them do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for a splendid report. Before we move to fill in of the questions and everything, you can see a lot of questions in the text. We're going to have to introduce the membership to our great IT person that's on the call there, watching our problems, our mistakes, and everything. And she's going to be covering some of the work for us, IT work during this pandemic, and the Zoom calling and everything else. So without further ado, I'm gonna get Miss Agelli to talk on what she's doing for us and things that she's doing. And then after that, we're gonna go fill the questions. And then say, because it's getting late, it's like almost 8:15 now. So we're going to have a lot of questions to answer for the attendees. All right, thank you. Ms. Agali?
Thank you, Andre. Hi, everybody. Good evening. My name is Fariba Agali. I've been working with the USW 8751 for the past 2 years, developing systems and finding out how we could best connect with the members. This webinar was a project that we put together when we were successful to do that because we had the ability to contact people and to be able to let everybody know what is going on. So I can't emphasize the importance of being in touch with us with your contact information. Is one of the things that you probably saw me in the beginning when I started working with the team, collecting contact information at the Freeport Yard a couple of years back. And we've come a long way, and we'd like to continue being able to be in touch with everybody, to let everybody know about everything that's going on, because that makes the union much more important. It's the members that really make everything happen. So right now we have, thank you, Steve. Right now, this is something that we're working on our website. We're going to revamp the website, and it's going to contain much more information that it has now. It's going to be much easier to navigate through different categories, and you're going to be hearing from us soon to let you know about how you can take advantage of all the information that's going to be going on and also how you can participate by subscribing to email and to text messages. We've been very successful being in touch with you guys by text, and it seems like that's very it's a very useful channel to be in touch with you. But as you've seen, email is becoming more and more important to have with training, with Zoom meetings. So I encourage you to let us to share your contact information with you and with us, and also be prepared to get more information about what's coming up with the website and other technology advances that we're making. Thank you. That's all I needed to say.
Oh, thank you, Fariba.
I have a question for Fariba. Well, Fariba, you're working on a forum where people can correct their email addresses and stuff. Is it up here yet? I can't find it, or is it about to come?
Yes, I am actually going to text everybody that page, but if people are familiar with our website, it's going to be, the link would be under subscribe. It's bostonschoolbusunion.org/subscribe. And the website is a little bit unstable right now. And I'd like to when it's all working and fine-tuned, I would like to distribute that or let people know about how they could update their contact information there.
Right.
Thank you, Fariba. Thank you, Gillis. If we recap before we start taking questions and answering those questions, on number one, we didn't cover August bid and reopening of BPS, but we talked vaguely about that. I think we did pretty much everything on number two.
Andre, if I could interrupt, I apologize. I think a good part of what wasn't able to be heard in your first talk when you were inside and you were having a bad Wi-Fi connection is also what we're getting a lot of questions about from the members that are on this meeting. and the ones that will be able to listen to the recording. And that is, what's going to happen next week with unemployment. I don't think it was clear, for instance, that all of us, we just found out a couple of days ago, are being unemployed, laid off on Tuesday. Could you go into that maybe again, Andre, the unemployment, what the situation is, and also the resources that we have and more that we plan to have available for members. Thanks.
Thank you, Gillis. That's where I was going to go before I recap, because most of the questions are on unemployment, retirement, summer work, reopening of school, BPS. Yeah, but let's talk about summer work. I said there was not going to be any summer work program. We've heard that from BPS. We've heard that from the city and then from the company as well, that we're not going to have any program going on. But the only thing we were told that we are going to be unemployed by the 22nd. So the 23rd is the first day you call or you put in your claim. We used to call before, but nowadays call is very hard, very rare. You get somebody on the phone. After you spend 2-3 hours, 4 hours waiting, and they go back and tell you that sorry, they can't help you. You have to go on some website, send some email to them, and they're gonna get back to you. And by the time you get back to you, it's like two weeks or 4 weeks. You get problems getting your money. One thing I was telling everybody before is to go down there when COVID wasn't around. Now it's too late. Is to go down there and get those 4-digit PIN numbers changed into a password where you can get online. All you had to do, you didn't even have to have a different ID number, is after you check that box up there, once you go on their website, you put your social security number twice, and then get you to a place where you have to put your password in. That password is not the 4-digit PIN that you used to get on the call with unemployment. And you those calls, you don't get anybody on there but a machine. Usually it's archaic, that one. It's very, very old, and then it's not working anymore. So it's all getting online, or you go down there and get somebody, but you can't go down there now. It's a big thing you got to deal with coming up. We asked the company today to actually provide somebody that will contact the unemployment and tell them about these people that were in that situation, so they can send them something. We can tell them to create a password, one of those 8-digit that start with a capital letter and some small cap letters and some numbers with the character. Then you'll be able to get in online and do just about the initial thing to the very end of getting some money for your family. So and I also said I could help with that too, but the company is responsible to give you enough help, and we pressure them to get a number, a working number, a workable number, so people can get in without going to some machine or full machine with full of messages. You can't even leave a message. Sometimes you can't even leave a text message to the company's staff, though. So it's a big struggle, but we're gonna hold them to that too, because we told them companies in the past had actually used to provide people to come out in the yard, but budget cuts and a whole bunch of other things prevent them from doing the same thing. But up to Riley's death, passing there, late Riley used to help with some of the stuff. That was one thing he was good at too. Even though we helped him out in a lot of suggestions out of good things, but he was helpful. That's what we're hoping to get from the living people that are alive now at the company to continue to provide some help. And I also offered my help too, even though I'm very busy. I get a lot of calls, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Some of it I move them to the next day.
You may have
I
to get
call
on
back.
the
I call
phone.
back.
Can you take a quick
So I
look
can-
at it now? I put the stuff in.
So I can help out. The unemployment going to be a challenge, but that's what we're going to be doing. You've heard that there's a stimulus of $600 out there. There's a part, if you're filling out that thing yourself, you got to choose that COVID bullet where it says, are you out there because of COVID? You actually have to check that part. I was told that if you don't do that part, they're going to treat you like a regular unemployment, lack of work person. You may not get that incentive. That thing is due to July 31st. For now, we asked the lawyer to check into the stuff around that, relating to that, if there's going to be an extension. He said he will get back to us. And then we will hear that in the news also, if there's an extension. Other than that, if after July 31st, it's all finished, it will be a good ride, because about a month and a week, we don't have any waiting weeks anymore. Waiting week, we're not going to lose the first week. If you were the one that just started for the first week, the week that you used to lose, you're not going to lose that anymore. That I knew also. And I can help with that. As far as August bid, we don't know, and nobody knows if we're going to have an August bid right now. Reopening our school, we're looking to get on the table, on the panel, that's going to talk about reopening plans and everything else. The work is still in process. We were promised emails that we're going to be part of that. So we're looking forward to that.
Steve K for Stack, when you get a chance, Andre.
I can actually turn it in for you now, because I was just answering some questions in the thing. I wasn't gonna do it by text anyway. Yeah, go ahead, Steve K.
Yeah, just with regard to some of the questions, and President Francois answered very well what we know to this point, and that's important. The other thing is that this is a historic new development for everybody, this pandemic. And there are certain states we know of that opened up, and they opened up too early and are beginning to put some more lockdown on. There's all this discussion, are we seeing a second surge or no? It's still the first surge. And there are a lot of unknowns. And what the union can best do is deal with all that we know right now, and to make sure we are protected. One thing we're crystal clear about, we were clear about it on March the 12th when we met with city leaders at City Hall prior to even our meetings with the mayor. And I should mention again, the union has an unprecedented access now to Mayor Walsh. It was a reflection of that you all got the robo call from Walsh. But we have to understand, when we say that TransDev and BPS are our enemies, we're not being rhetorical on this. You know, Andre just mentioned they are having meetings about what their plans are, and they've been evading bringing us to the table because they fear our union power. And that's where our greatest leverage resides. That's why we've been meeting and discussing regularly with Walsh. Although I should mention, in the last period of time, it's all in political context, he's made himself less available. But we're going to continue to work every single one of those angles that we can. There is nothing that we know of, or the company knows of now, of an August bid or startups in September. Discussions we've had with BPS leaders, they bordered on the absurd of how they're going to deal with education. And we know summer school programs that are happening are only the remote programs that are happening. We are going to continue to have to be ever vigilant to make sure that any efforts that are made to either train our people, license our people, give physical examinations to our people, that they must make sure that facilities, buses are all disinfected to the level of dealing with a deadly virus. That's what we're dealing with right now. So I know there were a number of questions about what do we know about August bid? What do we know about September? I mean, we do know there's no summer school, so we know that. We do know in terms of the unemployment, and as Andre said, we have all the union's resources we are using to make sure we get you the most updated information. There's legislation in the federal government to increase the stimulus plan. Right now, it's just scheduled to end on the end of July. But any extensions, we'll make sure to let all of our people know about it. But it is important to note that we're not just filing a grievance with TransDev. We're not just sending an email to Superintendent Casilius. We're doing all those things, but we are being much more aggressive to get to the new COO that we deal with, to Sam DePina or whatever title he's using. We're dealing with his boss's boss, and his boss's boss. It all stops with Walsh. And so we will do that. And we've had great assistance from our international union. So this is it's a tremendous first step for us to getting the members as informed as we can. This is being recorded, so it probably will be available for people who didn't get in the information. I mean, it's great that we've had like 130 people involved, but we represent nearly 800 and change that could be there. So it is a process, and we will continue with that process. It's a strong fighting union. Thank you, Andre. That's what I had for now for those questions.
Thank you, Steve. I've got a... Steve, you wanted to say something, Steve? Steve Gillis?
When you're
thank
ready
you.
for
I have a
401k plan and stimulus, I'll take.
I have one question from one of the attendees. A sister asked that are we going to be staying like sardines in the bus yards and then in the bus? I'd like to answer this first. We told the company in retrofitting the bus yards that they have to do some retrofitting on the bus itself. We talked about having petitions between the bus driver and the students. We talked about a whole bunch of other things, a whole host of things to protect you, to do everything, including reopening Charlestown Yard again, which they're still paying. We started the struggle before COVID, and we continue to put it in, especially now that we told them that we have to practice distancing pretty well. The more yard, the more yard, the better, because we have Reedville Yard, the food park people that were in Charlestown that goes to Reedville, and then people pack in Freeport. They're gonna need a lot more space. So we talked about that, and we're gonna continue to talk about everything when we get a chance to be on the table. Like my brother said earlier, it's because the fails. That's why we didn't get on the table yet. But with the help of International, our reputations and everything else, we're going to get to the table. whether it's on the street or on the table, on the Zoom calls, how to do it. But we will get there. We'll get all the answers for our members. So Steve, you have something to say about 401k, COVID and reports and everything else. Why don't you go ahead and cover that for us if you don't have anything regarding those questions and answers?
I'll be real quick because I know it's getting late, and we appreciate people staying with us because we had so much information to pack in tonight. Just on the question of sardines, I wanted to say no, we will not allow it. We will not go into a packed driver's room. They will need to set up operations and weatherproof operations outside in the parking lot where we can remain in our cars like we're doing now. We can conduct bids, in socially distant ways. They're going to have social distancing, physical distancing on the school buses. They cannot put 70 kids on a bus until there's a vaccine. They know that. But the company knows things, and then they do things anyway. And we will not allow children to be packed like sardines on a bus. We can't imagine that, and we won't let it happen. Just in terms of the 401k plan, I'll be really quick because most of you already know this, but part of the federal government's COVID-19, they called it the CARES Act, had to do with the 401k plan. And it does allow participants like us in a 401k plan to use the money easier. I'm not advocating it. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. We want to build and keep this job for our retirement. And our funds is the only savings that we have for our retirement. But if you need to take a distribution and you're younger than 59 and a half, we can help you figure out how to do that without penalty now. And we set up at Sentinel Benefits at the beginning of this pandemic ways in which you don't even have to log on using a computer, but you can call Sentinel Benefits call center and do it. And both Andre and I have passcodes and passphrases to tell the operators there to allow you to conduct transactions. You could take a second loan if you really had to. You could have loan payments stopped for up to a year, so you don't have to pay the loan back for another year, in effect, increasing the term of the loan a longer year. There's various things like that, and if you want to know about them, you have my number. They're on our website. Texting is probably the best if you can text and or email, and we can help you in these very difficult times if you need to utilize your 401k plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I had some other questions here, like brother twice, I think it's Robinson Felix that says you can create an account. I know you can create an account online for unemployment, but creating an account, sometimes you run into trouble. Like they say they're sending you a code. They send you a code to some phone that you had, you don't know when, in there, and you no longer have that phone anymore, and you can't get that code. You end up calling somebody to try to send you something else, telling them that you don't have that code anymore, that phone anymore, or your email address changed, or stuff like that. So this is the problem you run into by creating an account. Sometimes they ask you the questions, what was your mother's maiden name? Some guys don't know, I'm sorry to say that, don't know what maiden name is. Sometimes they put mom's name or first name or something, and then they don't even remember what they put back then. So it's not that easy to just create an account, unless I didn't discover that yet. So you can do that if you get all the ducks in the row. So you're gonna run into some trouble. But I'm trying to tell you to call the company or call me and stay on the phone for a little while until you get somebody. That's how the struggle was. The struggle was real. We got in an appointment when COVID just started. Maybe right now, since a lot of people go back to work, the number of people calling in an appointment, much less. Now you may be able to get in. You know, I was just trying to get you to get in easy. Like I said, I can give some help too. You've been calling me already, so I might as well continue to get calls because I am here to help out. I'm the servant, so I don't mind. Thank you, everybody. If anybody have something else to say, go ahead, because it's 8 something now, 8:36. We covered just about everything on the agenda. The training and the licensing and everything, Jim helped out a lot with that. And then you hear that we're going to have classes for 4 days. And we also have that online thing. We're still working on logging in. So you all, thank you very much for being on. And we hope to have a better meeting next time with less issues, more Wi-Fi and everything else. So
Andre, one more thing for Stack for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just a refresher. You know, in this period, communication is going to be key. And so people should take to heart the reports on how to improve your communication, improve your email, improve even your checking into all these things, because an informed membership is a strong membership. And that's what we're going to need in this next period of time. This was a great first effort. And I think, you know, this is the future for us right now. So solidarity to everybody. And we are a strong union, and we'll continue.
And I love you all. I mean that to the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Freddie?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Bye.
Great job for a first try. I'll see you in the morning at the Freeport Yard.
All right, bro.
All right.
All right.